Hello, hello. Excuse me. Welcome. I'm on parenting duty again. So this time, I want to take like a different route because I'm trying to like. There we go. I'm trying to avoid traffic. Let me see what is going on in my crucible and in my parenting. So I just dropped Blake off to school. It's in the back over there. And he'll be getting picked back up. I don't know if it's by me or his dad. And my locks are growing out. Y'all can see my locks are growing. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to be like retwisting or if I'm just going to sort of let the roots like freeform. Not freeform. I mean, I've seen some freeforms and I'm just like, that's not really for me. But I've also seen some freeforms that are absolutely like beautiful, like gorgeous. So we shall see. We are really, really busy. I'm gonna have footage for the vlog, so I'm gonna have to make sure that my phone is really charged. I have an event, gala this Saturday. So we typically go to church, to mass on Saturday. And this is gonna be a real test because the event is at the same time as when we go to mass. And we are trying to avoid, like, how they say, right? A lot of people, talk about how they don't go to church anymore because of the people that are at church, right? And so it's not just, the non-melanated. It is also the less heavily melanated. It's also the melanated churches, the heavily melanated churches, where, young people especially say they don't feel comfortable, so they don't go. All the way to Discord. I've seen Discord groups where young people go to do like Bible studies and things like that because they do not feel comfortable at these churches. And there are a lot of members of my family, and you have to understand, I come from a very Catholic family with grandparents being catechists, founding the first cathedral in my home country, in my country of origin, Cameroon. That's still the largest. So it's like, it's a lot. And so that means something. And there is a certain type of Catholicism in America. And our current Pope comes from America, although he didn't do his work in America, right? So that's also important to note. But anyhow, so because of this, it's not always the most comfortable experience depending on who's sitting in there as far as a parishioner or who's volunteering at the time as an usher, right? It's not the most comfortable experience for my family. And so we will switch around and go to different like masses so that they can't sort of like, they don't know we're coming all the time, because once we start coming all the time, it takes about a month. And then we see the people that have an issue, right? And it's like, okay, we got to switch up the time. Because I think that to me, it really is, and you guys, you can see it how you want to. I think that it really is. I am sacrificing because I am very well known for not putting up with racism. I don't put up with racism. I wasn't, I was just born here. I was not socialized here, okay? I don't put up with that. So, because of this, there are many places that I will stop going to, knowing that that was their intention and not giving two fucks about it. Because, bitch, if you are that mad about my presence, I don't need to be here. But see, church is a different thing, right? All the other things God has provided, right? And He's afforded me the opportunity to not be in the face of bullshit. But church, this one is different. And so I am happy to move around to the different mass times for like Sunday mass or Sunday Eve mass or weekly mass. God knows what's in my heart, what's in my family's heart, and He is in control. And so that's how I'm dealing with that for this Saturday. Oh my God, the smell of fresh cut grass. I was supposed to get on the highway. Damn, I didn't get on the highway, guys. I'm trying to avoid where reception is spotty, and it's about to be spotty right here, because what happens is YouTube ends my lives like for when it loads up after I'm done on live. But I'll still be talking to people. It just doesn't load that second part. So I think it's connectivity issues. Anyway, so that's that with church. And I'm gonna put, so wait for the September vlog. So the September vlog, because this is the month of September, comes out in August, like around August 1st is when I upload it. And that's where you get to see what I'm doing in between these lives, right? And so going to the gala on Saturday. So let me tell you about this gala. So this gala is the Minnesota Lawyers Guild, or the National Lawyers Guild Minnesota chapter. So thank you for the like, you guys. Like up the live. Whoever this is who always shows me love, I don't know who you are, but just know that I really appreciate you and you make my day. Anyhow, so the National Lawyers Guild Minnesota chapter gala, the speaker, and I don't remember his name, but all that will be like in the vlog, because I'm gonna vlog that instead of going live for that, because I need to have some stuff in the vlogs that y'all be watching. But he was a Black Panther, and prison, all of that stuff, got released, and he does a lot of work where he speaks, kind of like the guy that got assassinated. I would say shot, honestly, but assassinated, I guess, because he was high profile and very connected to the current presidential administration's leadership and family, right? So how he would go, Kirk would go to like college campuses and radicalize the students, the youth, right? The voting youth. A lot of people go and do speaking. Am I going, is this way? I'm gonna go this way and see where it takes me. So he is a speaker. He's a speaker that goes to groups and things like that now, and that's what he does, right? And so he's speaking at the National Lawyers Guild Minnesota chapter. I'm so excited. I have a few mentors out in the community, and I remember there was an assignment when I was in law school where I was asked who is someone that I idealize, right? Like, and why. And I talked about just the state of Minnesota better for people that historically get stomped upon, whether they agree with being stomped upon, like a lot of MAGA people. They agree with that. They're like, I'm fine with being stepped on, right? But then there's also people who are not fine with being stepped on. So just being out there and advocating and making sure that families or individuals who are unjustly terminated, right, by the government or things like that, that they are able to have a voice in the process and just make the process better. That takes a lot of work, okay? It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of dedication. And she has dedicated her entire life to this. And there's not a lot like reward in terms of like even acknowledgement of like how fabulous this person is, you know? Not a lot of that really, because people don't reward institutions, people, they don't reward people like her, you know? And so I just think she is phenomenal, and I thank God for putting me in her path, you know? I mean, I learning a lot from her as a person, not like the work, you know, just as who she is as a human. You know, I won't say her name here, but she's phenomenal. Anyway, she invited myself and said I could bring my husband. Yay! I don't know why I said she invited myself. She invited myself and my husband is what I was gonna say, and that just came out like. Anyhow, I'm excited about that. And then I looked at the event. So usually a gala is like black tie, the galas that I'm familiar with. From Jesus, bitch. Sorry. This like white van is gonna pull in behind, try to like run into me when I have the right of way. Like what the hell? Anyway, so it's like black tie, but I'm looking at it and it's gonna be just like activists, like and not right-wing activists, right? That would be all MAGA down, you know. So it's sort of like an activist vibe, a grassroots vibe is what I mean when I say activist. A grassroots vibe, an abolitionist vibe for sure. Abolitionist, okay? Because that is slowly, you know, stepping into that identity for myself. Not because I go through personal shit, but because this is an issue and I have certain gifts and talents that God has given me, and I think that I can help. I don't know, you know. I don't know if I can help myself in my situation, but I know that I can help others, and that's why I've always volunteered. I've always volunteered. And these are my Catholic roots, right? It starts with my Catholic roots. And Mother Teresa, right? How she did her stuff, you know, that's my mom's like idol, Mother Teresa. Matter of fact, you know, I listen. Okay? Like I'm true to this, all right? And so I hope the freaking reception does not cut off and is still there, because YouTube would cut it off. They really would. But yeah, anyway, that's the energy that I'm on. I'm not out here trying to do the evangelical thing of like getting more bodies into my parish so that the parish can get more money, because that's weird to me. I understand that there's a piece of that, but that's weird to me, and I don't approach it that way at all. Yeah, so for me it's a little bit different. I try to do acts of good, and I know that there are some things that I could volunteer for at my current parish, but I think that the issue with that is that that particular parish has a lot of prestige, like the Cathedral of St. Paul. It's right by the Capitol State Building. I think that there's a lot of prestige. And so there are people that are very self-important, and other people who are trying to get in to sort of like, I don't know, become an influencer. I don't know. And so what ends up happening is they pick the wrong people, because somebody like me, they already are going to assume that I'm in it not to actually help and do good work and bring my skills. I'm in it because I have some ulterior motive that is nefarious, unfortunately. But God knows that. He knows that. I know that. And so I just continue to just serve the community directly, right? And so I'm talking about this game. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I have to settle down and figure out how I'm gonna act. Like, am I gonna ask him to sign something? Am I gonna, like, what am I gonna do that's still like respectful? Like, I have some home training. I'm not a groupie, right? Because, like, what? Because a lot of people act like groupies when it's people like that are like in politics or something like that, you know? Yeah, no. And so it's interesting, but I am excited about just the work that's being done. I'm excited to hear, and it's gonna be Palestinian food served. Let me repeat that: Palestinian food served. Okay. And I don't know. There's this thing that bothers me is that right now, the mainstream news, the media, is not talking about what's going on in what Israel is doing to Palestine. That is Palestine. What the fuck do you mean? The people in Gaza. That is Palestine. And so I'm just, these ideas that were promoted and promulgated and pushed forward by individuals like Kirk, who was, God rest his soul, you know, taken away from this physical realm abruptly, some would say, yesterday, you know, that's the type of stuff, that's the rhetoric, that's what they say, you know, that's what they do. And so it's interesting, you know, because it then becomes the mainstream like vocabulary and vernacular, and you have a whole country that is now erased because people will not recognize the state of Palestine, like, because Israel wants to, and then they bring in like the Bibles, and then they like child, and I'm just like, Lord, please guide me. Please guide me. And so I'm coming around the corner. YouTube is probably going to end this if they haven't ended it already. So thank you for watching. I want to say God bless you. Please continue to pray for me and my family. You know, I love and appreciate all of the prayers. God is in control. Bye.